Very good morning, students. The previous class we have discussed some important points of cytoplasm, cell organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, the structure and its functions, and finally Golgi bodies, what is its structure and functions we have discussed. Today we are going to deal some more membrane bound cell organelle. Is the first one, lysosome. Okay, so one of the membrane bound cell organelle, membrane bound sag-like structure. So here what is sag-like structure? Sag-like structures are called bag-like structure. Sag or bag-like structure. Okay, which contains the bag or sag-like structure contain digestive enzymes. What is the enzyme? The enzyme means it is a chemical substances to break down complex into simpler. Again, the digestive enzyme means the substances or chemical substances to break down complex into simpler substances. So this is present in the lysosome. Is a membrane bound sag-like structure. Then structure of lysosome. It's a spherical structure. This is a outer membrane and this is a inner membrane. Inner membrane filled with digestive enzyme. Okay, so this is a outer membrane, this is a inner membrane. Inside the lysosome contains digestive enzymes. Okay, it's the digestive enzymes, very important. These lysosomes are generally called suicide bag of a cell. Again, lysosome is generally called suicide bag of a cell. So why it is called suicide bag of the cell? When is a foreign body. What is a foreign body? It may be a bacteria or any food item or any old organelle. It is there inside the cell. Suddenly this lysosome burst. And this digestive enzymes are released and digest the bacteria or else food molecules or else any old or unwanted or worn out cell organelles which is present inside the cell. Okay, that's why the lysosome is generally called as a suicidal bag of a cell, because when there is a foreign body like a bacteria or food or any other worn out or unwanted cell organelle, it is inside the cell. Suddenly what happened? This lysosome burst and release the digestive enzyme to break down complex into simpler form. So that's why this lysosome is called as a suicidal bag of the cell. Question will come, Why the lysosome is called the suicidal back of the cell? And if there is no lysosome in a cell, what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? There is no breakdown of bacteria or food or any other old cell organelle. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so it is help to clean the cell. This lysosome help to clean the cell. Help to clean the cell. How it help to clean the cell? If these are unwanted to the cell. So what's happening? It is digesting these things. So it is help to clean the cell. And lysosomes are called as a digestive or scavenger of the cell. Scavengers. So you know what is scavengers? Is there any dead and decomposed dead bodies, plants or animal dead bodies? The hawk and other animals, what's happened? What's doing to eat the dead bodies? So like that, is there any unwanted foreign bodies enter? What's happening? Digesting. So that this is also called as a scavenger of the cell. Scavenger of the cell. Okay, so lysosome, structure of lysosome. Why the lysosome is called as a suicidal bag of a cell? Okay, and why it is called a scavenger of the cell? Because it breaks down the complex into simpler form. Okay, so both the plant cell and animal cell contains lysosome. The numbers may vary, but anyhow the lysosome present. And next cell organelle is mitochondria. Is very important one. From lower classes onwards, you are studying about the mitochondria. 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 This mitochondria is generally called as a powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell. So why it is called a powerhouse of the cell? Because this mitochondria only produce ATP. The mitochondria only produce ATP. So what is ATP? ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. The adenosine triphosphate only gives energy. So that energy production occurs inside the mitochondria. So that mitochondria is called as a powerhouse of the cell. For example, why should we eat? Why should we eat? Because the food only contains nutrients. When the nutrients are break down, then it is produce energy. That energy is in the form of chemical substances ATP. Okay, the ATP only contains that energy. That ATP is break down and gives energy. This energy only our body cell used for their activities. So that the mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell. It is very important one. Why mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell? Because of produce ATP. It is a energy giving molecule. ATP is energy giving molecule. This is expansion. This is definition. Energy giving molecule. Okay, now let's see the structure. Structure. So it is a membrane bound cell organelle, so that there is a outer and inner membrane. This is a outer membrane. This is the inner membrane. This is the outer membrane. Outer membrane. This is inner membrane. Inner membrane. Then inner membranes are folded like finger-like projections. Okay, the inner membrane having the finger-like projections. The finger-like projection is called as a cristae or crista. Cristae. Okay, so inside the inner membrane, there is a fluid substances. The fluid substances is called as a matrix. Matrix. So this is a structure. So what is the structure? It is a round to oval shape. The structure will be a round to oval shape. Okay, there is the outer membrane and inner membrane. This is the outer membrane, this is the inner membrane. The inner membrane contains the finger-like projections. Okay, the projections are called as a cristae. Okay, and inside the mitochondria there is a fluid substances. The fluid substances is called as matrix. The fluid substances are called as a matrix. The inner membrane only contains many chemical substances which is responsible to produce the energy. From the inner membrane only the ATP is produced, because for produce the ATP need lot of chemical substances which is occurs only in the inner membrane. Okay, so this is the structure of the mitochondria. And another one, this mitochondria have a special character. Mitochondria contains own DNA and ribosomes. Very important one. This mitochondria contains own DNA. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Already we have discussed in the topic of nucleus. And also have ribosomes. So when this own DNA and ribosomes are having in mitochondria, this is able to produce or able to synthesize own protein. Again, the mitochondria contains own DNA and ribosome. This is help or responsible for synthesize protein. So we take protein from the outside in the form of food. From the food, the protein content is there. So apart from that, in our body, in our cells also, protein synthesis occurs, which is essential for our body. Okay, so that is done in the mitochondria with presence of own DNA and ribosome. Okay, structure is very important. You have to draw the diagram and you have to explain. Okay, again, The mitochondria structure is round to oval. Sometimes in some organism it is a round shape and in some organism it is a oval shape. Have a outer and inner membrane. The inner membrane contains here projections, finger-like projection. These are the projections. This projection is called as a cristae. So inside the mitochondria there is a fluid substances. The fluid substances are called matrix. From the inner membrane only the ATP produced, because there only some chemical substances which responsible to synthesize ATP. And their mitochondria contains own DNA and ribosomes. Is very important one. Okay, this character, it is not occur in all the cell organelle. Only mitochondria and plastid only have this special character. Okay. Next one. Next cell organelle. Plastids. 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 The plastid only plant cells. Plant cell contain. So contain plastid only in plant, is not animal. This is a major differentiate between the plant and animal cell. The plastid only present in the plant cell, not animal cell. It is a membrane bound cell organelle. This is also membrane bound cell organelle. Membrane bound cell organelle. Then types of plastids. There are two types. The first one is chromoplast and second one is leucoplast. Again, the plastids are two types. The first one is chromoplast. Chromo, that means color. Chromo means color. Okay, and leuco means white or colorless. White or colorless. Okay, there are two types of plastid. The first one is chromoplast. The chromoplast are colored plastids and the leucoplast white or colorless. The chromoplast contains the pigment. The chromoplast contains pigments. The pigment is called as chlorophyll. So this is called a chloroplast. Okay, the chromoplast contain pigments, chlorophyll. So this is known as chloroplast. Chlorophyll is a pigment. For example, the plants are green in color. Maximum are green in color because of chlorophyll pigment. That means green color pigments are present. So that is responsible for green color. Okay. But only green color pigment present? No. So green color pigment is present. Orange color, yellow color, or various color pigments are present also in the chromoplast. Okay, again the chromoplast contains the pigment, that is chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll is also, the chlorophyll contains pigments are called as a chloroplast. The chloroplast is very responsible or site of photosynthesis. Site of photosynthesis. We studied already in earlier classes what is photosynthesis. So the photosynthesis occurs in chloroplast because the chloroplast only contains the green color pigment which is responsible for the photosynthesis. This is only occurs in the plant cell, not in animal cell. Okay, only chromoplast only contain a green color pigments? No. So it is also yellow color also present and orange pigments also present along with the green color. Okay, so if you see the plant, it is a maximum green in color, but if you see the fruits, if you see the flowers in many colors, so that is the presence of chromoplast. It's a type of plastid. Okay, and what is chloroplast? The chromoplast contain green color pigment chlorophyll, that is called chloroplast. So this is a site of photosynthesis. Here only photosynthesis occurs. So many of them will say photosynthesis occurs in the leaf. Yes, of course. In the leaf, where it is occurs exactly, where the chlorophyll is present, where the chloroplast is present, so that is a site of photosynthesis. Okay, so these are important. And leucoplast. So what is leucoplast? Leucoplast is a white or colorless, white or colorless pigments. White or colorless pigments. So it is do not have white, it do not have a colorful pigment. So actually, so what is happening? So it is stores the some food material. It stores the some food material. Example, starch. Stores starch, oil and proteins. So do not have any colored pigments in a leucoplast. So it is stores starch, oil and protein. Okay, chromoplast contain pigments. Green color pigment is present, yellow color pigment is present, orange pigment is present. Okay, so many pigments are present, so that it is called as a chromoplast. So there are two types of plastid, chromoplast and leucoplast. Now let's see the structure. Let's see the structure. This is a membrane bound cell organelle. So this is outer and the inner membrane present. This is outer membrane and this is inner membrane. And there is a stack-like structure arranged like a coins one by one. So this is a stag-like structure. The stag-like structure means it's a flat-like structure with have empty spaces. This is called thylakoids. Thylakoids. So what is thylakoid? Inside the plaster there is a flat like structure is present. The flat like structure is called as a thylakoid. And the thylakoids are arranged one by one like a coins. These are the thylakoids. The thylakoids are arranged one by one like a coin. This is called it as grana or granum. So thylakoid is a thin flat like structure present in plastics. Okay, these thylakoids are arranged like a coins. If you arrange the coins one by one, how it will be like this structure. That is called it as a grana. A granum. Okay, and inside the plaster there is a aqueous fluid. Aqueous fluid. That is called it as a stroma. It is a fluid substances, the fluid nature. So on the stroma only the thylakoid, the grana are embedded. On the stroma, S-T-R-O-M-A, stroma means fluid substances. Before we see in the mitochondria, the fluid-like substances present inside the membrane, inside the mitochondria. The matrix we studied the same fluid-like substances only, but it is called as stroma. So on the stroma only, these structures are embedded. And as usual, having outer membrane. Outer membrane. And this is inner membrane. Inner membrane. This plaster similar to the mitochondria. So mitochondria also have a outer and inner membrane. This is also have a outer and inner membrane. And also very important character is this plastic contains own DNA and ribosomes. So which contains like mitochondria. The mitochondria also contains own DNA and ribosome. Now this plastic also contains the same own DNA and ribosome. This is responsible for synthesize own protein, which is responsible or which is good for the health. Okay, this is a structure. Actually, the structure is not in textbook. Kindly you draw in classwork or else in any part of in any area of the textbook. It's very important item. Okay, next, cell organelle. Vacuoles. Vacuole. This is a membrane bound cell organelle. Membrane bound cell organelle. So this is present in both plant cell and animal cell. It is present in both the plant cell and animal cell. So in plant cell, large and single. In plant cell, large in size, single vacuole is present. But in animal cell, small in size many vacuoles are present. So this is a plant cell. So there is a single and a huge. This is a plant cell. And animal cell. Animal cell. Animal cell. There is a many vacuoles are present, but small in size. So in plant cell, large and single. In animal cell, small and many. Okay, is another one important cell organelle. So it is store the solid. Its vacuoles function is stores solid and liquid substances which is responsible for the plant's growth. Again, it is act as a storage sac for solid and liquid contents which is responsible for the plant's growth. Okay, so vacuole stores the solid and liquid content which is responsible for the plant's growth. So it is membrane bound cell organelle. In plant cell, large and single. In animal cell, small and present in many numbers. Okay, this vacuoles are occupied. The vacuoles are occupied 50% to the 90% of the total cell volume. So in the plant cell, it is occupied 50 to 90% of the total cell volume. Okay, so in the plant cell it is a huge and single. So what happens? Automatically the nucleus will go at the corner. Okay, this is the nucleus. So it's a major city center occupied by the vacuum. So nucleus come at corner. But in animal cell, the nucleus are located at center because the vacuoles are small. So the nucleus are located at center. So these are another one importance of plant cell and animal cell. Okay, so important. Can you note it down? In plant cell, plant vacuoles stores cell sap. What is cell sap? The cell sap means the fluid substances which is inside the cell, that is called the cell sap. So in plants, the vacuole stores the maximum cell sap. The fluid substances, the nutrients are stored. So this gives or it provides turgidity. And rigidity to the cell. Very important one. So the plant vacuole stores the cell sap. So this vacuole gives the turgidity. What is the turgidity? When the cell contains or when the cell stores the maximum cell sap, what will happen? It becomes swell up. The swell up condition is also called as a turgidity. And it gives also rigidity. So rigidity, we know what is rigidity. Is a solid or strong nature. For example, we use the term in the cell wall. The cell wall contains more amount of cellulose. This is only gives the rigidity to the cell. We studied before. The same when the plant vacuole stores the cell sap, it gives a turgidity and rigidity to the cell. Here turgidity means what? Swell up. The plant cells swell up because of the presence of more cell sap. And it is rigidity. What is rigidity? It's a strong nature. It's a strong nature. It's very strong. It's a rigid nature. So that is given by the plant vacuoles. Okay, these vacuoles also present in the unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba. Amoeba. Is a shapeless. There is no specific shape. This is a nucleus. And this is food vacuole. This is cell membrane. So when the amoeba finds the food, food particles, suddenly it creates a pseudopodia and enters the food. So after enter the food, it reaches to the food vacuole. The food vacuole means it's a vacuole which stores the food. So it reaches to the food vacuole. Then the amoeba contains many digestive enzymes which is responsible for the breakdown of the complex food into simpler and absorbable form. So the digestive enzymes are there and digest the food particles. After digestion, the energy is the nutrient is diffused inside the cytoplasm of amoeba. Okay, so the food vacuole is present in amoeba. In some other unicellular organism, this vacuole also stores excess of water. Excess of waste. It stores the waste. Okay, and expels excess of water. Again, this food vacuole only stores the food. But in some other microorganisms or unicellular organism, there is another one vacuole. The vacuole stores the excess of water and also waste. So whenever the waste and excess of water content is more than sufficient time, suddenly what's happening? It expelling the waste. What do you mean by expel? Expel means push out. Expel the waste and also expel the excess amount of water. So this is also occur in other unicellular organisms. Again, the vacuoles act as a storage sacs. Sacs also already we studied. Sac means what is a bag-like structure. So it gives a turgidity and rigidity to the cell. In unicellular organism like amoeba, there is a food vacuole is present. The food vacuole stores the food. So it is involved in the digestion. Which one? This food is digested and the nutrients are diffused into the cytoplasm of the amoeba. And some other unicellular organism, there is another one, a vacuole is present. The vacuoles are store the excess of waste and also the water. When the waste and waters are excessed beyond the limit, that time it expel. Expel means pushing out. So this is another one food vacuoles function. another one food vacuoles function. So I told it is stores the cell sap. I told. So not only cell sap, the cell sap stored in the plant cells, and also other than the cell sap, it is stored the sugar, vacuoles stores sugar, sugars, amino acids, and some organic acids. Okay, so in plant cell it will maximum store the cell sap. Not only cell sap, it also stores the sugar, amino acids, and some organic acid. These are important. These are important substances for the cells. That may be a plant or animal. That's why these are stored inside the vacuole. So kindly note it down. So that's all. Today's class over. So kindly watch the videos properly and study the NCERT textbook properly. If you watch the video and if you study the NCERT book properly, then only possible to complete the worksheets. Okay, without watching videos, without reading textbook, no, you cannot do the complete the worksheet. Kindly you do it. Okay, and following us through the online and offline classes, and touch with us always. So stay home and stay safe. Thank you.